Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining. I am joined today by Dorian Gonsalves, CEO of Belvoir. Welcome, Dorian.
Hello, Nat. Thanks for the very kind introduction.
Well, that's great. I mean, I know you very well, but if you don't mind, perhaps you can give us a bit of a steer on who Dorian is and what you guys or what you do over there at Belvoir.
I started life as a negotiator, working for Countrywide many years ago, which I really enjoyed. I cut my teeth there. I learned the industry there. So as I say, I started right at the bottom. In fact, I was below a negotiator. I was a trainee negotiator. Get it right, Dorian. And then I sort of worked my way up through the ranks with Countrywide, and I joined Belvoir as was in 2005. Became CEO. Became a director in 2006. CEO 2010, saw it through the float, the IPO in 2012, and I've been around ever since. And I feel like a bit of an antique actually these days.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Dorian. So a couple of questions for you, if that's all right, and for our viewers today. So, by all measures, you guys have had a pretty good 2021. So, how did you guys successfully put yourself through the perils of COVID, and do you think it will be a struggle to do that again this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's again, I mean, the COVID period sort of had a lot of parts to it. You know, you got sort of just before the pandemic when we were riding high, like a lot of firms, and I think when I think back to sort of January 2020, we acquired a business in January 2020. It was an 18 office network. It was called Lavelle. I appreciate a lot of people may not have heard of that because it's a purely Lincolnshire agency group, but it's a brilliant network. But it was a lot of estate agency, and I remember we completed on the deal in January 20, and by March we were being told to close the doors on estate agency. So I must admit, at that particular moment in time, the timing of that deal just couldn't have been worse. But as time went on, it almost couldn't have been better as the market completely sort of changed. And we're very pleased to have more estate agency offices, as the year progressed. So, to me, there have sort of been lots of parts to the COVID process, and for us as a PLC, we've also got investors to deal with. So there are lots of stakeholders in our business. First and foremost, we've got our franchisees, which are the most important part of the business. But just to put a bit of colour around the sort of whole business, really, I mean, although we've had a good 2021, as you say, we're not quite ready to report to the city just yet. We report on our end of year numbers in April. 2021 was year 25, so that's year 25 in a 25-year series of unbroken profit and turnover growth. So we've actually, although last year was good, we shouldn't forget that we've had 24 of the good years before that one. We tend to acquire every year, Nat. So we acquire.
That was actually a question. You mentioned the acquisition of Lavelle's earlier. So a question I had actually was your thoughts on acquisitions for this year, for 22, going forward.
Sure, yeah. I mean, in 2020 we acquired Lavelle, and then we turned the tap off pretty much because everyone's turned the taps off with acquisitions. 2021 we acquired Humphreys sort of in March last year, with a small chain of around 20 offices, which they came on board. That was great. And then we acquired a mortgage business later in the year as part of a deal with Nottingham Building Society. So we did make two sizable acquisitions last year. I suspect we'll do the same this year. I can't guarantee it because it's too early in the year. But my sort of personal target this year is to acquire sort of 2 to 3 businesses. If we do that, and I appreciate it is a big if, then we would hope to continue our unbroken record of growth.
Okay.
So believe you me, I say that with a smile. We're all really, really keen to see that record continue.
Okay, well that sounds like, well, it's at least a positive outlook from you guys, so that's fantastic. Do you think we'll see more franchise operations this year emerging? Different opportunities, different franchise operations for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I sort of smile when I see the general chatter about self-employed models within estate agency. The sort of home run type models, personal agent models. The sort of general self-employed approach, it seems to be quite popular at the moment. And why I sort of smile when I hear that is that that's been our model for the last 20 odd years. We started from a home run model when I first joined, our franchisees were working from home. I used to go and visit
Okay.
them at their houses. It was,
Right.
and then over a number of years, we encouraged franchisees to move into shops because we wanted to see them with bigger businesses and with staff and with higher turnovers. And the average turnover across Belvoir branded offices per franchisee on average is just shy of 300,000 a year. Across Northwood, interestingly, it's more like 400,000 a year turnover. The reason I mention that is that we would prefer franchisees with that level of turnover
Yeah, of
to
course.
lots of franchisees with much lower turnover. But I think my view has always been there's room in our sector for all of these different models. So yeah, I'm very pro franchising, always have been,
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think it's a fabulous model when it works well.